Before we talk about the subject of this video, I just want to point out that this video isn't being monetized at all. And some of you might be wondering, why exactly is this video being made? Well, others who probably have looked at my Social Blade have been wondering why there's been a massive negative view count being removed from my channel. The reason why is because I wish to talk about the last year and a bit that this channel has put itself into. Now, some of you might think that with this year of being able to make over 40,000 subscribers and being in a position where I'm near 100,000 subscribers, you think a video of this nature didn't even need to be made, because the things that I'm going to be discussing about, I could have literally ignored the entirety of this and just carried on like nothing had happened because of the growth that this channel has been receiving, but I'm not going to do that. I do want to just state that this is something that should not have been made this late into the issue, and as a matter of fact, the actions that led towards me having to make this video shouldn't have occurred at all. But looking back at everything, I saw myself as being too oblivious and entitled to really see exactly what I was doing and how exactly I was hurting people. I want people to know exactly what has happened throughout the year so they can fully understand the position that I am of just being nothing more than an idiot who didn't realize how much he lost until it was too late. You know, it took me this long to realize all of this shit shouldn't be even classified as being acceptable to others, and I know that making a video like this really won't change how people can think of me, because I know how deep the hole has been dug, that any chance to climb out of it, to rebuild any type of reputation, it just seems incredibly impossible at this point. But I'm doing this video for myself, because I want to end this chapter and I want to be able to move on and fix my channel, pretty much. There are going to be 2 points that I wish to acknowledge with this video, but the 2 things that these points have in common is that it's in relation with how I've decided to present my content for a really narcissistic way of trying to trick the YouTube algorithm, pretty much. As many of you know, I was in a position where I was stuck playing nothing but TF2, and I was looking into 2 different directions. Either consistently playing TF2 or addressing the issue of wanting to change my content. But the thing was, during this time, there was someone that I was talking to who actually helped me in the terms of advising what I should be doing. And when I look back at all of this now, I just can't come to terms with all I've repaid him, because this was someone who helped me in a way, and how all of this ended up concluding, it just makes me look like the fucking worst person possible. Because the person I'm talking about is RT, and back when we were still talking, he was the one who advised that diversifying my content would be the best thing I could do. And during the same time, RT had made the Sims 3 video. It was the one that put him on the algorithm. It was the one that appeared on the trending tab, and for some reason, back during those times, I could somehow use this to an advantage of trying to trick the algorithm into thinking that I was him. But it was the fucking dumbest thing I could have done. And when confronted about this shit, I was put in such a position where I didn't really see how badly I fucked things up. And I remembered the one thing I do recall was not being in the best mental position. But the reason that I wasn't in the best mental position was because I was upset that the Sims video that I made didn't get the amount of attention that RT's video did. I was that fucking delusional and just fucking narcissistic at that point of time. And to me, RT's comment just looked like something that was just annoying more than anything, which is why I responded in such a sleazy manner. And from that point forward, RT saw that response and just told me to fuck off. And that was the last day I've had contact with him, because he clearly just didn't want to do anything with me anymore. And I just made videos, and he was patient for this for about a month. He could have said something, but he said nothing. It just took, a third video of the Plague Inc. after the Bridge Portal one for him to address this on Twitter. And at that position, I found myself having to do it. It's the feeling you get where you don't want to do it, but you have to do it because someone caught you, pretty much. I don't remember myself realizing the serious the whole situation was, which ended up resulting in me seeing Peter Scrap's video and doing the exact same thing. And I remembered that the last video I did in relation with this was a Planet Coaster video. And then after that, it just seemed that to me, all I thought was I just couldn't play these games anymore, because people were just assuming that it was just the recurrent past happening again. But that's not why people were calling me out for that video. And it took a reflection around this month where things started to change. I don't know why it took me this long. I found myself to see YouTube in a completely different light, but it's a light that wasn't what I want to be or wanted to do. And it just seemed that what I was doing was just a scummy last resort for relevancy. Like, I remembered being upset when a video didn't go big. There's no excuse at all to try and justify that, because if we look at this in the terms of a hierarchy, you've got me complaining about a vid that only had 10,000 views, and then you've got the people below whose videos can't even get 1,000, and then you got below who can't even get 100. So it just completely adverted my attention into going down this path of being spoiled and just believing that I deserved more. And while doing so, I ended up fucking over a lot of people. And at this point, it's just, I personally believe, I feel it's just too late that I could redeem anything with these people. I might come to terms with myself, but if this video alone was just an apology to them, rather than, then the goals that I'm trying to achieve would be incredibly low. Because metaphorically, every single one of these people, they don't want to do anything with me or associate with me anymore. And the only time where they refer to me is out of mockery. And I'm not saying this in the terms of a victim complex. I'm saying this in the terms of a rightfully deserving to do something. Because when someone fucks up and does something bad, they have every right to not only be criticized, but to pretty much get what they deserved. And I know people like RT and Peter Scraps much rather wouldn't want to do nothing with me anymore. And I know even in the terms of RT, he's blocked me on every social media platform. So even trying to just message him is just not even possible. And I'm pretty certain that even after this video, that ain't gonna change. These videos may now be gone on the channel, and when I say gone, they're deleted. But regardless of all of that, that doesn't mean that I shouldn't say what needs to be said. none of the terms of being forced to do so, but because it's finally come to terms with what I've done and how I do generally feel about the actions that I've portrayed upon others. Because even those that I haven't personally affected, friends of these associates, or even just acquaintances, or even just people who are fans of their content, would just have been as hurt as well by another individual who should have known better. Chances are they won't choose to watch this video. I still do want to see I acknowledge this. T and Peter Scraps. What I've done for the both of you was completely unacceptable. I wish I should have known better, but I didn't. And it's only taken me now to realize this, and to truly be regretful for what I've done. I wish we could go back to the moments of us chatting and playing TF2, but I know that those moments won't happen again. The videos that you made from The Sims, Bridge Portal, Plague, Planet Coaster, and TF2 2007, they all became popular the way they did because you worked very hard on them. And clearly, the way that I responded with trying to jump on these trending videos as a leech, not only decided to do, but even thought about doing. And I'm sorry. And I know that this video alone isn't just going to change things at all, because of how much you've both been hurt from this. I am regretful for what I've done, but I do know that it's extremely likely that both of you won't choose to forgive me, and that is something I'm going to have to accept. And to all those out there as well who expected more from me from this, and I'm sorry to all those that I would have hurt from this as well, who were very vocal with expressing their anger towards what I've done to their close friends. Now, in relation with that, in regards with what I sent to RT as well, of how I've portrayed my content throughout the year, in the terms of how these videos were shoehorned with buzzwords that weren't even related with the video itself, but were just shoehorned with a buzzword just to appear in the search tab and to try and gain more attention, just because of the smallest things, like how Borderlands 3 came out, and so there was Poker Night 2, and all I did was just put Borderlands 3 in the title, even though there was nothing related with the third game at all. And the main offender in relation with this is what happened to the X Fortress series on this channel. In relation with that, when I originally made that series, it was in relation with how the cosmetics used in TF2 could make a character look like a pop culture reference. And various items in particular were in fact, based off the actual subject matter itself. But it seemed that X Fortress was just something that just turned completely sour, where this entire series alone was just used as a quick scheme to try and latch on and leech with trending memes and such, or existing popular YouTube icons. And I remembered that, I made the Pyrocynical one because there was a hairstyle that they had for the Scout which looked a lot like him, and when I ended up seeing that the video appeared on his channel and he referenced the video, I remembered believing that now all the other YouTubers were going to do so, which is why I did stuff like the JonTron Fortress video. And clearly, when I put myself in this situation, it showed nothing more than my views on creating content, because what started as a hobby turned into just portraying myself in a position that I didn't want to be seen as. Because the videos that I was making and just throwing in buzzwords in the description and tags is the same equivalent of like a 3 a.m. challenge video. You know the channels I'm talking about, where you've got these YouTubers who have this centralized focus around their channel, but what they'll do is they'll just take everything that's trending at a particular point of time and they'll incorporate it just to try and make as much dirty money as possible. And when I say dirty money, I mean in the terms of making funds in the easiest way possible with the least amount of effort possible. But by doing so, all I ended up doing was just affecting the integrity that my channel once had, where I made videos because I enjoyed making them and not because of just trying to gain popularity or funds. And by putting myself in this position that I don't want to be anymore, what it ended up doing was affecting how the audience would see my content and assuming that I would make videos about certain subjects that would be completely against any morality. I remembered because there are people out there who would expect me to make videos about deaths of individuals. And going back to the 3 a.m. topic, these YouTubers have made the same type of content. And that's not what I want to put myself in. I don't want to be seen as the TF2 equivalent of a 3 a.m. challenge video. And by making a video and acknowledging this, I feel that it helps me with being able to realize what I've done and how these videos should have never been created. But I think a concern about this is put in a position where I was making now the type of content that I should have been doing with this long ago with relation with mods and workshop submissions. But no matter what I do with these videos, they will always be affected with the X Fortress things and the message that was sent to RT to come to the conclusion that all my videos are trying to aim for some type of a marketing thing rather than trying to focus on what I was originally and always doing with YouTube, and which was doing it as a hobby, which I enjoyed doing for fun. The one that really worries me the most is when that same statement is being addressed with my parody songs, and people think that those are only being done in the quickest way possible just to jump on bandwagons or to leech of other people. But the parody songs that I make are not done because of any of those two reasons. And for me to prove that point, I'm going to be showcasing how I make the songs. I know that this most likely should have been a milestone video, but this is something that I need to do in order for that statement about my parody songs to be true. Parody music has been something that I've been really passionate with way before I even made this YouTube account, and back during the olden days where I didn't even have the right recording material, I remembered making tons and tons of parody songs. And the two YouTube channels that helped inspire me to make my parody songs in a different perspective was Shramoho, which would auto-tune people, and Epic Rap Battles of History, who would make these, the rap battles against two particular figures. When I first saw these back in high school, I figured it would be really cool if one was lucky enough to be in that position where everything you've done is being put in a position of being celebrated and portrayed in the form of a creative concept like a song, a parody song. How the idea usually comes into play is it just comes out of coincidence. Every parody song I've ever made is just listening to the song at a random time, at a random day, and just tampering with the lyrics in my head and seeing if the syllables used in that verse could be applied to anything else. And it only takes one line to get an idea and to keep it as a note to say, I should invest my time in looking at this because something could be expanded upon this. And when I realized that it's possible to make a parody song about this subject matter, then that's when I start researching this. I don't want things to be brief. These are songs about certain individuals, and every individual is different. And so I do as much as I can to research as much about that person through descriptions, bios, titles of their YouTube videos, quotes they've said, catchphrases, what items they have for their TF2 Sona, if they're named anything in particular. And I tried to get down as much information as possible with this, because you never know exactly what the lyric might contain, and you have to be prepared for anything. 30-40% of all the notes I write down end up appearing in the actual lyrics itself, because I would much rather be prepared for the worst than not be prepared at all. And then comes writing the song. And trying to get started with it is hard. But the way that I've kind of worked around this always is I like to portray my parody songs like stories. Because you've got an introduction, you've got the middle, and then you've got a conclusion. And you want to basically do like a storytelling for your audience. Even if a song is not about a topic and it's about just an individual alone as like a tribute kind of a thing, you still want to go for that flow, because to ensure that people who've probably never heard of these people can be also introduced to the type of content they are and what to expect from their social media platforms. And when that's done, the whole thing is performed. And I don't do just a whole one take. I will do multiple takes of either a line or a verse to ensure that when I perform, I can assure that I will be able to produce at the end the best sound that I can provide to the audience. Because sometimes you record yourself and you don't hit a particular note to what I can accomplish. And I want to make sure that I have enough copies of that line to ensure that I can have the best ones that can be combined together. Then when everything is recorded, I go through all the music, I fix everything up, I make sure that all the waveforms and the sound production is the best to what I can do, because I want to ensure that the lyrics and the instrumental can flow together without anything being too loud or too soft, and also editing the instrumental to match the pitch of my voice as well. I've also liked the idea of how you've got these lyric videos that allow the users to know what the lyrics are, so I always make sure I have lyrics on screen as well, which I type up. And then depending on how I want the music video to be portrayed as will depend on the entire subject idea of the song. For example, when I was doing the Soundsmith video, which was about the stereotype videos, it's obvious to see that every video starts with him congoing towards the camera. And I knew that when I wanted to do that as a music video, I could make the soldier congo towards the camera, and every verse he changes the cosmetics that he wears. Or situations like the Miss Moth music video, or the Pyro Joe and Spiky Mikey one. Even with all of that being said, it's much more plausible now for just someone saying he's done this to leech off someone, and more people will believe that than anything I've just said. And some of the things that has happened as well of being able to do, it's just hard to come to terms with them, because I feel that I should be incredibly lucky to be in the position that I'm in, because I've managed to still have a channel that is growing, still have fans of my content showing support and typing positive comments and making fan arts, and even certain YouTubers wanting to make videos with me, like the Pyro Joe one. And this is the same individual who's friends with RT and Peter Scraps and Doomsday and Spiky Mikey, and he would have had more of a reason to say no. But the fact that he said yes in wanting the collab, I just don't know what I can say. I'm grateful that it's happened, but I feel that in a way it doesn't feel deserved. I just sometimes feel, with looking back at all that's happened for me to be in this position, if I actually deserve to be in this position of subgrowth. But the one thing that I can conclude from this is that I do want to change. I do want my videos to be different. I do want to start making the content that I enjoyed making long ago without having to jump on every trending topic. And in order for me to do so, as the saying goes, actions speak louder than words. If you try and find an X-Fortress videos of JonTron, Shaggy, Flex Tape, The Egg, they're gone. Because I've spent these few days deleting videos that shouldn't be there and editing videos as well. If you look at the recent videos now, they've been edited, but I'm not finished. There's a lot more I still need to do. There's a lot of thumbnails I need to make. There's a lot of terms that need to be removed and videos that don't need to be there. And with everything that's occurred, I'm going to be taking a break, so I can spend this time with clearing out my head, editing my channel, and ensuring that I can return doing what I want and should be doing. I just have to pull myself up, keep walking forward, and leave this in the past while being able to reflect off of it. So that way, I can ensure that I don't go down the same path ever again. And I wish I didn't hurt so many people on the way here, of trust, companionship, friendship, and everything else. And I'm thankful for those who are still sticking around with me. And I'm sure that when we reach the end of this year, everything will be good. And I hope they will be. Even though I know that the people that I've hurt will most likely still don't want to do anything. The one thing I do want to say, I'm most likely going to probably need help in maybe not knowing what should be removed or not. So if you see a video or various term that you feel shouldn't be with that various video, let me know. The next time you see me back on YouTube, I'll be able to clear my head out, and I'll finally be able to do what I've wanted to do, because if I don't, I would be putting myself in a position I didn't want to be in. And by doing this, it's one step towards the path that I want to be on. So I'll see you all then, and thanks for listening and sticking by. It's really appreciated.